Now, we get started with the first conversation, and this is all about health. And today we're going to be talking about a very sensitive issue, and this is postpartum depression. At least 10% of all new mothers get to go through postpartum depression. And then again, on the other hand, it is also one of the most misunderstood forms of depression. Why? Because of how it presents itself. We find so many people choosing to label it, giving it other names to fit it in a different category and not a mental health concern. And today we are here to help set the record straight, help you understand when we talk about mental health and postpartum depression being something that we need to talk about openly and why it is important. This is why we are having this conversation today. And to help me with this conversation, I have in studio with me Anastasia Kihwaga, who is a counseling psychologist. Good morning, Anastasia.
Good morning, Wambui. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for coming back.
Welcome.
She's not, it's not the first time we're having her. We did have her a while back. Still looking at these mental health conversations. Maybe we could start with your social media handles so that our viewers, if they have any questions for you that they want to direct to you personally, they may be able to do so.
Okay, thank you very much, Wambui. Once again, I want to thank you for giving me an opportunity to come and talk matters health in relation to building our nation. My name is Anastasia Kihwaga. I'm a counselor psychologist. I'm also an associate pastor. Together, my husband and I, we pastor a church in Kayole called Divine Glory Church. I'm in social media, Facebook. My Facebook page is Equip Destiny, Anastasia Kihwaga. I have a page, Equip Destiny, and my Twitter handle is also Equip Destiny. And I am also an author. I've written a book, Value of Self-Identity. I am also a professional mediator certified, and I want to thank God for this opportunity to serve my nation. It's always a pleasure to serve the nation.
And we're glad you're here with us today to just help us understand this conversation about postpartum depression. And I want us to start from a professional level of understanding what postpartum depression is before we get to the other various concerns around postpartum depression.
Yes, thank you very much. This is a very good topic. Postpartum depression is whereby young mothers, all our first-time mothers, or any mother who has given birth, they enter into a point whereby they are not able to handle the circumstances that is allowed them, and because of that, they enter into something we call postpartum depression. It's connected with mothers mostly after calling their pregnancy and then to a point of giving birth. There is that confusion, you don't know how. And sometimes it's also because of the mood, I mean not the mood, but because of the hormonal imbalances. And people enter into postpartum depression. Unfortunately, in our culture and in our African context, I don't know about the others, it is not, it's ignored. And we find that many people are struggling because you start with depression in itself, it's a mood disorder. And being a mood disorder, it is ignored because there is that extensive sadness, anger. Sometimes you see people, women, mothers throwing tantrums, especially the first-time mothers. After carrying a pregnancy, you've been a very beautiful girl. Now you've entered to another level whereby the shape has gone. There is all those continuous anxiety about you, how you look, about how to take care of the baby. And because depression is something that it's inner, you're vulnerable to it because it's not seen from outside. It's an inner,
it's an invisible illness.
Yes, it's an inner. You may appear okay in the outside. You see a mother, the way after giving birth, you want to put a lipstick, you want to put your eye pencils, you want to look to the world, you're okay. But inside, you're battling with things that you never expected. I never expected to add weight. I never expected to have a baby who is crying the whole night. I never expected sometimes to have a husband who is not there, especially when I need him most during the time of taking care of the baby. Sometimes the babies can be very disturbing. And that way, it gives somebody another view that it takes them out of the normal view.
Okay.
And therefore, we want to talk to their mothers today to tell them that it's okay to speak about your feeling, because depression being a mood disorder, it comes along with feelings. And the feelings, not the positive one, the negative ones. We have the sadness, we have the anger, we have sometimes you want to, I've had some mothers telling me, Anastasia, I felt like I want just to leave the baby to cry. because I needed my peace of mind. Unfortunately, they don't speak about it. So the baby is struggling, you're also struggling.
Okay, and we'll be getting to those symptoms in a bit to just even help you understand if you may be going through something like this, but you didn't know what it really is. But from a professional point of standing, why do you think we're in the 21st century? We have advanced in terms of technology. We are living in a time where we can have open conversations, but why is it still a taboo when it comes to postpartum depression, specifically because traditionally you're expected to love your child.
Sure.
You are told you carried this child for 10 months, you nurtured them with your body, you loved your pregnancy, whether it was high risk or not. The society expects you to love this child. So on the other hand, why do we still struggle to have conversations around postpartum depression?
I think, Wamboi, initially, things were not the way they are. We have working mothers. We have somebody who is working up to the 8th day. One, because our economy is rising, so you cannot sit there the whole 9 months to relax and wait for somebody to feed you. Some of them are even and even some of them are single mothers. So as you carry your pregnancy, remember you're carrying your pregnancy for 9 months. From conception, you've been working, and some people, they work up to as they get off of work and they have gone to the hospital to get a baby. So it is a sad moment because the package is no longer the usual. I remember, I think the older mothers, they used to stay home. We used to have stay-home mothers, and they used to take care of babies. No wonder they used to get many babies, because as at now, when you get one, you're expected again to go back to work immediately.
After 3 months.
After 3, not all of them. Some it's 2 months, some is 1, others are hustling. I mean, they are living heart to mouth, so they are expected to go like a woman, a mother who was given birth and she's a hawker. What do you expect them to do? They need to go back to work immediately. So you can imagine. So, as you said about the 21st century mother, they want their shape intact. Unfortunately, I want to speak to the mothers that the shape has to be deformed a bit. They want things to work out the way they want. So there is that denial initially. There is that denial of what is happening to me? What has come with this baby? You know, the baby is to be loved because a mother has those maternal instinct from conception. A mother is intact with the baby from conception, because you conceive, then you carry the baby, so you're the one who understands the feeling of the baby. I mean, you've walked with this baby for long, and I want to say, let it not make it a taboo that it's like mothers are neglecting their babies. It's not negligence. It is the too much package of the baggage that people are carrying unaware.
Okay.
And after calling them unaware, you also, the baby who is in the womb becomes a partaker of the baggage that you're carrying. One, because when your feelings are sad, the baby in the womb becomes also develop those feelings.
On a neurological level.
Yeah, on the psychological level. And that is why we are here, and thank you for this topic, to support people's psychological support. And also, a woman or a mother, a new time mother, or every mother who has given birth, even in the 21st century, we need to give them support.
Okay, now, quick question. When you talk about postpartum depression, we always think of the mother.
Yeah.
Do we have fathers who experience postpartum depression?
A very good question. Fathers also experience postpartum depression. Unfortunately, they never speak it out. You know, a woman, you'll know, because they will throw tantrums, they will talk about it, they are sad. Sometimes there's mood swing. You know, your husband comes in the house, you're not talking to them, not because you wish to, but because you feel, I said the depression is an internal, an inner sickness whereby it's not seen. It's also a mental health sickness whereby it's not visible. But then a father is also equally affected, because when a baby is crying the whole night and you're expected to report at work at 8, or even it depends where you're working, what goes on to the mind of that man? So they also suffer something we call paternal depression. You know, the women suffer maternal because they have maternal
depression as well.
But the father suffer paternal depression. Unfortunately, because our men never speak. Again, it's
mostly diagnosed when it comes to the ladies. Now, I want us to try and look at some of those triggers or causes that lead to postpartum depression, and you have mentioned a number of them, but let's just start with society. we are Africans.
Yeah, we are.
And children
Proud
are
African.
proud African at that. And children are traditionally a symbol of wealth, prosperity, and everything nice and good. And with that comes a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
From a professional standing, you know, could these societal expectations and pressure be enough to trigger postpartum depression in this day and time that we are living in?
Just to point this, that depression is both environmental, it is caused by the environmental factors, meaning the surrounding can cause you to be depressed. Number two, it can also be biological.
Yes.
It lands some depression, even postpartum. It lands across the family. And that is why you find that if it's not handled in the early days, you get to psychotic, whereby you become mad. You've seen mothers who give birth and then they get mad. It may be learning from the family. And as you've said, the society has not allowed people to go through these cycles of life, because one, a woman in our social society, a woman is not supposed to, to give responsibility of their baby to anybody
you are
else.
expected to take care of this child, be at their side. Akilia kidogo, you're supposed to attend to the baby.
Remember, this woman is still healing a wound that they never expected to have, like the people who go through CS. And everybody, every mother, after giving birth, they have a struggle, a medical struggle that they're going through. They're still healing their own wounds. They're still, there's so much happening. But a man, our society expects a mother to be a mother, even when they're ailing. From the community I'm coming from, they say that a woman needs to be kept quiet. You know, you always keep quiet. You don't have to speak your issues outside.
Be seen, not be heard.
That's very nice. And because of that, there is something we call social stigma. And because of the social stigma in our society, people have inhibited their feeling and they're struggling from out inside. And that is why you find after a woman or after a father struggling from the inside because of the postpartum depression, as you said. Remember, I said it's a mood disorder. So sometimes you never expect whatever comes your way. It is unexpected. Unfortunately, it's not taken well by our society, because there is that notion that a woman needs to behave this way. A man needs to behave this way, especially in our society. A man needs to be strong. I am not sure to be strong for who. A woman needs to stand out for the family. And as you have said, children are a heritage. Even the Bible says so. Children are a heritage. They are a source of wealth. Unfortunately, they are growing up, the upbringing comes along with hurdles. You know, there is nothing that comes in a silver platter. It comes along with the handles. You know, sometimes with the economic stress, you're expected to buy diapers, you're expected to buy food, you're expected to buy to pay for house rent. Remember, we're in a COVID time. Many people lost even their jobs. So you can imagine the pressure associated with what you're going through and the pressure inside, whereby you need to handle this baby.
Okay. Now, I want us to move on to another aspect. And this, I know, most people take it very casually and do not understand how deep-seated it is, and especially for the ladies. And this is about your bodily changes. I have seen so many, and unfortunately, it has been men who talk about how just because your body changed is not reason enough for you to feel how you're feeling. You need to prioritize your baby over how you feel about your body. To what extent does one's bodily changes during and after pregnancy affect or contribute to postpartum depression?
I want to say during the pregnancy, you know, you're bulging, your tummy bulges, you know, you've always been taking care of your figure, and then the body bulges, you know, things happen, you know, unexpectedly, and that one lowers the self-worth of a woman. That is something people don't know. Unfortunately, you never keep on saying, I have low self-esteem. My worth has been overtaken by my pregnancy. And because there is a way the society looks at you, I want to let us know that even the men, I want to let you know that every woman, if you're a mother, if you're a husband to a woman and your wife has given birth, or if you're afraid to somebody who has given birth, please, instead of criticizing them or judging them, nobody wants to be judged. Please stand at a non-judgmental position, whereby see this person as somebody who needs support. Every time you attach, every time you see the other person like somebody who is in need of your support, you will walk and work with them. It is true the baby needs to be a priority, but then again the mother who is taking care of the baby needs also to be supported. And that is why I want to encourage women, or everybody who has given birth, please do self-care. Because sometimes you forget yourself. And once you forget yourself, if I myself am ailing, I am hurting, I am mentally unwell, my mind is not well, I cannot be able to coordinate the self and others. And remember, the baby is others. Even if it's a small infant, the baby is others. Yes. And therefore, if you forget yourself, you as a person need to give yourself the first priority. Remember, the people who go through postpartum depression, even the milk, when you're breastfeeding,
it affects
the milk,
production.
it's affected. I mean, and then your immunity goes down.
Yes.
And when your immunity goes down, even the immunity of the baby goes down, because you're not a healthy mother, because you're hurting. I mean, you're ailing from inside. Therefore, we need to bring it into the public domain and to let people know that after people give birth, they go through issues that are unexpected, and therefore they may come along with postpartum depression. And if it's not handled in the early stages, and that is why I want to encourage the society, don't judge people. Again, don't criticize. Again, don't talk ill about the mother. Don't see them as a problem. Also, the mother. Let me speak also to the mother.
Yes.
Don't see the baby as a problem. And unfortunately, some babies are a problem. Because if a baby is crying the whole night, and I'm expected to breastfeed them, I'm expected to sleep, I'm expected to wake up, I'm expected to do all those things, sometimes it's overwhelming.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when it comes to having conversation with a postpartum mother, let us stop body shaming women. Just because that body changed is not as per your expectations, you need to understand that this woman may be going through so much more than you think you know. Now, another aspect that I did found to be quite dominant when it comes to postpartum depression is issues to do with the age of the mother. According to what I read, is that younger mothers get to experience postpartum depression as opposed to older mothers. From a professional standing, is this true, and what could be leading to this?
They say that experience is the best teacher from the layman perspective. And I want to say that somebody who is older, somebody who is mature, not even age, somebody who is mature, they're able to handle that. We are living in times, Wamboi, whereby we are doing, the candidates are sitting in for the exams. Did you hear that there are candidates who are doing their exam in the maternity wards? So you can imagine, that is a young girl who gave birth at a very early stage. And that girl, even the body is not formed to receive the baby. You know, there are those, biological factors that need to be taken care of. 13 years old, 18, another 18 or even less than 25s, their body, they are not as well formed as a mother who is mature enough by age and also by the health being. Okay, there are people who have health issues, even if they are older. But the people, there are those ones who are normal, but they have gotten baby at an expected time. Those people suffer more. Why? Because the body, biologically the body is not prepared to get a baby. And that is why I encourage every lady, before you give birth, please walk with somebody. Work with somebody, and that is why we need mentors. We need also psychological support. Go to a counselor, work with them, let them know, let them share their experiences, not there, but let them share with you the unexpected. It may not happen like the way it happened to you. Everybody is unique, and we need to treat everybody as a unique entity so that we may understand them from the light perspective. Unfortunately, we put everybody in one bag.
And have a blanket cover when it comes to addressing issues.
And that is why we have social stage because we have put all women in
one category.
But we need to categorize them. A teenage mother, a 20 years old mother, at least the ones after 25, that's fine. And I'm not saying that you should not you should not marry at 20 or 22, but again, it is also good to check the biological factors. Again, it's also good to work with your doctor. They need to check on your hormonal imbalances and all that. But these days, we really ignore the ignorance.
it's
not advanced anymore.
Just on another level.
Yes.
And I know we'll not be able to fully exhaust this conversation in this one sitting. We'll have more discussions around postpartum depression, but still looking at the causes. And now this involves the partner, and especially if you are in a committed relationship or you are married, it is said that the partner is more of a double-edged entity in this conversation. They can contribute to postpartum depression, and they can also be part of the solution. How would you be able, just kindly explain to us the two roles that a partner to a lady who has just delivered can contribute to postpartum depression, and how they can also be part of the solution to helping this young mother?
Thank you for mentioning the 21st generation. We have different kind of relationship. And you've talked of commitment. There are those who are committed to the relationship, but there are those who are married, but they are in a safe edge, whereby they are non-committal. And there are those ones who are, I mean, what we call it, cohabitation. And therefore, and therefore, you as a lady need to ask yourself, is this a man, is this man committed to this? If you see your man is not committed to this, kindly remember, you will suffer, because every time you think of the other person, like somebody you need to be with them to come and support, unfortunately,
who should be a source of support, support system.
Unfortunately, they are not there. And I said sometimes some fathers, because they experience paternal depression. They, because of the havocs and the overwhelming circumstances in the house, they may get out to get other support system. And you find some of them will become workaholic. They get out of the office rate. Some of them becomes alcoholic and they start abusing drugs and substance abuse. Others will become, they become busy elsewhere.
They look for other let outs.
Very good.
Okay.
Why? Because they are struggling. They never talked about it. And I said it's okay to express your feeling to your partner. And I'm encouraging the fathers, because no woman has given birth without a father. Wherever they are, we are collectively bringing them back together to become a support system. If you talk of a support system, a family is a board of relationship. And there is that symbiotic. Everybody is benefiting. I'm benefiting from you, honestly. Why can't you also be there for me? Let's do a collective responsibility whereby we need to bring them together, and after becoming together, and also talk to one another, talk to each other. Unfortunately, when the woman has developed the mood swing, they don't
communication becomes a problem.
And because of that breakdown, that is why we encourage people to bring along a person who can support them and work with them.
All right.
And it's okay for a father to feel overwhelmed, but again, bring you closer home.
Two are better than one.
True.
Now, another aspect that comes out very strong during the postpartum phase, and I'd like for you to just clear for us, as my directors are telling me we are almost out of time, and I just want you to just help us understand the difference between baby blues and postpartum depression, because many a times we use these two terms or conditions interchangeably. So what is baby blues and what is postpartum? And you've defined postpartum depression, but many a times we confuse it with baby blues. Maybe you can just clear that up for us.
I want to say, I've said about postpartum, it's whereby the mother, after getting the baby, you develop those overwhelming circumstances that are unexpected.
What role does time have to play in this too?
It is, when it's postpartum, it is when it's prolonged. It's not, it's okay to feel sad, it's okay to feel overwhelmed once in a while, but if it's prolonged, that is when we call it postpartum. It's a prolonged sadness, it's a prolonged mood swing, it's a prolonged sleepless night, it's prolonged. Sometimes you may lack sleep, but the baby blues, everybody, including myself, I'm a mother of 3. I experienced those because, of course, in the initial stages after giving birth, you have to experience some sleepless night. You have to, sometimes you're wondering, will I sleep on the baby? There are those fears and anxiety that is connected with giving birth. Because it's a unique experience. And being a unique experience, those are the baby blues whereby everybody experiences them. But if the baby blues continues, it's a prolonged, the mood swings are prolonged, the sadness is it's a prolonged status whereby every day I'm always sad. You know, I'm always overwhelmed with the issues. I mean, there are sometimes, you know, if you're emotionally stable, there are times I will get sad, but I'm aware that my sadness should not be caused by the circumstances. I'm able to handle, you know, when you're mentally functioning, when your mental function is fine, you're able to handle the circumstances well.
Yes.
But when your mental status is not okay, you're not able to handle the circumstances allowed you.
Okay.
And therefore, it prolongs it depends it's a prolonged status of being in a state of depression.
So baby blues just happen within the first couple of weeks after post-delivery.
And it's normal.
But PPD persists.
It persists. And if it persists, it becomes psychotic. And psychotic, that is why you find somebody has almost, they become suicidal, they become homicidal, and they can also become psycho. Whereby they give out. I mean, they give up. Yes.
Now, due to the constraint of time, we'll have to pause this conversation at that point. Yes. But we'll definitely have you back, you know, to just look at some of those telltale signs that point towards postpartum depression that we may not be aware to, or even you as an individual might not be alive to, and maybe somebody who's close to you can be able to help you understand why you are going through what you're going through by what they see you project. So we will be continuing with this discussion in not too long. Remember, this is conversations around mental health. Postpartum depression is something that so many women are struggling with, have been struggling with in silence, and haven't really had avenues or, you know, solutions to them. And this conversation is all about just opening that channel of communication to help our mothers journey through motherhood easier. You know, having a baby is just a whole other new world that you are ushered into. You are never really fully prepared for motherhood. So we are here to have these conversations to help the journey be easier. We have been speaking with Anastasia Kihwaga. She is a counseling psychologist as well as a woman who wears many other hats, and I want to mention actually all of them. I'm quickly just trying to pull up her bio in regards to her titles. She is the founder of Equip Destinies Transforming, which is all about transforming lives. She's an associate pastor at Divine Glory Church, which is in Kayole, and as well as a certified mediator and a trainer of trainers. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
I'm humble.
We appreciate you for making time.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you. May the mothers, please take self-care.
Absolutely. It starts with you.
And for our candidates, we wish them success.
All right.
Yes, yes.
We are not yet done with Good Morning Kenya. Do stay with us.